At least I'll know that someone's in the driveway.
I'll just see the shadow of Josh flexing.
So did those guys really name their app after a meme? Huh? Buckle up, fellow kids. It's time for FounderQuest.
So how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Good. This is our first Fireside Chat with the two of us, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you ready for Christmas?
I think so.
How about the kids? Are they ready for Christmas?
Oh, yeah, they're ready for Christmas. Everyone's been a little bit cooped up because of the winter weather, but I don't think we're going to get any relief there.
No, I saw that they have this, what is it called? The Pineapple Express, this weather pattern that we have where this big stream of moisture comes from Hawaii into the Pacific Northwest. And that's what we're doing right now. We got this big rain storm coming in. I was looking at the visuals from Cliff Mass blog. There was this, just like the moisture was indicated like with colors, right? Like it usually see on the forecast. And like it was deeply red, like all the way from Hawaii to the Pacific Northwest. The end of it, like as it approached the U.S. coast, looked kind of like a fist. And so people are calling it the Hawaiian punch.
Hawaiian punch. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we had a road get shut down near us because all the rain caused the soil to get unstable. And so there's a little bit of a mini landslide, I guess, what happened. And some trees fell down. And
ouch. And Hawaiian punch, that's kind of like a weather reporter's dream, isn't it? Like, yeah,
basically.
Getting a name like that, you can say.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Christmas. It's not going to be any snow, but that's okay. It'll still be fun. Oh, it's follow-up, though. Like a couple weeks ago, I think it was just Star and I who were having the chat. I don't think you were there for this one. When we were talking about the Christmas lights.
Yeah. No, I was there.
Oh, you were there? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I broke down and I bought some Christmas lights for the outside of my house.
Did you?
So
nice.
Now I have one string of lights draped over my garage door. Yeah.
That's what I usually have, except I didn't put them out this year yet because I was waiting for my garage door to go in.
Right.
And so now, Caitlin and the kids are kind of bummed that they're not up. So I might put them up this weekend just because it doesn't look like it's going to be here. So
totally.
Yeah, throw them up for a little while anyway.
It is fun, like Star said, to see them when you're coming home. Get that holiday cheer. Yeah. Yeah,
it does. It kind of changes the atmosphere for sure. I thought we could talk for a second about a work-related thing.
Yeah.
Just because I think people are going to be getting this. I mean, this episode is going to go out next week, which is like a couple days before New Year's. And so I thought, at least I could share a New Year's resolution, which I normally don't do because usually if you share your resolutions, they don't happen. But I'm just going to throw caution to the wind here. I think I posted this in chat before, but one of my resolutions is not to wait on CI unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So,
we got to do the Star thing though. What is CI, Josh?
So CI is continuous integration. There's a bunch of services that do this for you. It's like an automation feature that runs build steps on your software basically every time you push into your code repository like github.com or whatever.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of test code for our database, for our application, and the CI service runs all those tests for you and let you know if they passed or failed, right?
Exactly. Yes. And we have, being around for a while, the Badger's getting up there in age. We have a lot of code repositories laying around now that we have to maintain. A lot of those happen to belong to me. They all have CI. They all have test suites that are running on every code push. That's fine. We've used a bunch of different services in the past, but I think we've been using like Travis and Circle for the most part. Normally it's fine. Like if I push code and I'm not doing like a ton of changes or I'm not working on a ton of repositories at once. But lately we've been using Dependabot, which is another automation, like kind of a newer automation tool, which automatically submits dependency updates to your repositories. So it's a good way to keep like your dependencies up to date. So you're not like having to go and do like this massive upgrade of all your things at once. What it does is it submits more granular, like it submits one pull request for each dependency that has a new version that's come out. On a lot of these repositories, a bunch of them anyway, are NPM packages. And as you know, NPM, super small, super low number of dependencies in an NPM project. Like an average project, like a Hello World might have a couple hundred. A more like, an actual project might have couple thousand. I forget how many it is, but it's, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Every time an NPM package that we're using gets updated, Dependabot submits a PR. When you want to go and merge all those things together, especially let's say like the other day I was doing this for like 6 repositories at once that each had like a bunch of Dependabot PRs open. So it's like every time you merge, it's like it's generating a new test run. Every time Dependabot opens a new PR, it's generating a new test run. Every time you merge one PR and then it makes Dependabot need to rebase all the other open PRs because it like changed, it changed like a package lock file or something. And it needs to regenerate that for all the other open upgrades that are in process. Like, 50 CI runs need to happen. Basically, like I was stuck in this hell of like waiting for CI to run just so I could merge these tiny little PRs, I was not too happy. I wasn't a happy camper. And the reason it was taking so long is that we didn't have very good concurrency for running all those builds, basically.
So your resolution is to not wait on CI. So what's
my resolution is not to wait. Well, first of all, the projects that we're using Travis, it's not Travis's fault that it was taking so long. We were using their open source plan, so I can't complain about Travis. Thank you, Travis, for giving us open source build time for so long. It's awesome. But if you're maintaining a lot of projects, it's not great because if it has limits on how much you can run at a time. One, I'm moving to somewhere where we actually are paying, like we can pay for more concurrency basically, and we can basically pay for as much as we need because we can afford it. And, I think at this point, my time is probably more valuable than waiting on CI runs. So I'm moving most things to GitHub Actions. That's kind of my answer because as I understand it, the GitHub Actions, you get a certain number of free, is it minutes or something? And I'm pretty sure then you just pay for extra, like whatever you need. And we also use Circle for some things. And for a long time, they had some it was like a strange way they did concurrency. Like our plan I don't think our plan had a super, it wasn't unlimited, pay for as much as you need. But I'm pretty sure they just switched that model. So if we want to, we can also pay them more money to save us time.
So the plan is we're gonna trade some money for time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that plan.
So that's my plan. My plan in 2020 is to spend more money.
Talking about CI, I have long wanted to just take some time and work with BuildKite. That's a CI service where you run the runners yourself and your own infrastructure. They run the coordinators, and then you run the actual boxes that run all the tests. And I've wanted that because you can decide how much you want to scale up, right? And you can just run the instances. And we already have a pretty awesome setup with Amazon for all of our hosting needs. So we could just use BuildKite. They have a CloudFormation stack you can just throw in there and does it all. But I just didn't know that was a good use of my time. That's one of those, it'd be fun to do, but it's really not worth it. You can just pay GitHub or pay Circle to do that for you.
Right. Yeah. I remember back in the day, trying to run my own Jenkins server. And
that's no good.
I don't recall that being a valuable trade-off or a worthwhile trade-off. At least not at my size.
Yeah, I ran Jenkins back in the day, and that's not something I would choose to do again. That's like choosing to run your own email server. That's just a world full of pain. You don't need that, right? Yeah,
but it is interesting. All this stuff is getting easier, progressively easier to run your own. There's definitely a trend that's still moving in that direction for certain use cases. Whereas even doing email things, it's easier than it used to be. At least using other services, or Amazon's got what's their email service, SES for.
I definitely see that being a trend over the next couple of years with the compliance stuff that's been happening with GDPR and CCPA. Having control over where that data goes. CI isn't as important in our case because that's just code. That's not any of our customers' data involved in that. But things like email and search. All those places where that customer data ends up or has to go through, all of a sudden it's much more important now, who is touching that data, and can you verify that those companies are actually operating in a secure way? Because if someone wants to audit you, they're going to ask you who your vendors are, right? And so in that case, it makes sense not to use some fly-by-night service to do your CI. You want to use someone that's got a good, SOC 2 story or whatever. Yeah, and being able to have, or, for the more paranoid among us, to run all those services yourself, right? So like BuildKite, that's probably a good thing for them to sell, right? You can have all that stuff running on your own services.
Yeah, and for those services that allow you to do that, like the easier they get, the more attractive it is to be able to do that. Because at least from my perspective, if I know that at some point I'm going to be dealing with like privacy regulation things, like if I can build it with something that doesn't require me to think about that at all in the future, like why wouldn't I? If it's relatively the same cost. So we'll see.
That's always the trade-off, right? If you want to run it yourself, then you have to administer yourself. But that's one thing I think is nice about the rise of serverless, right? Is that you can just outsource all that. You can quote self-host it, but let Amazon actually handle the hosting for you, and it's in your Amazon account.
Yeah, you're like offloading all of that risk and all of the stuff, that the headache to the platform, which is designed basically just to give you a compliant way to run your own email server or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so I think software developers, entrepreneurs in 2020 might want to look at some of those popular SaaS services that are out there that are hosting a bunch of data and make a self-hosted option. Yeah,
but for CI at least we won't have to think about that. We're not like running our tests against like live like a database clone of a production, I assume.
Right. No, we're not.
I'm reading, the Unicorn project right now, which is the follow-up to the Phoenix project. It's like, about super, archaic enterprise company has to switch to like all cloud services and modern tech stack and everything with like, teams, hundreds of people into different teams and things. But yeah, reading that makes me recall all the weird things people do out there.
It just that brief intro that you gave just now makes me so glad that we're in a cloud native company. That we don't have any of that baggage to deal with.
Yeah. Have you started that book yet, by the way?
I haven't yet. No. The Phoenix project was great. I loved it. And so, yeah, Unicorn project's definitely on my list, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I thought the book was like kind of like a sequel, or actually what I thought the book was when I first saw it come out was I assumed it was like the Phoenix project, which kind of focuses heavily on the operations. It's about DevOps. The Phoenix project is basically about how to implement DevOps in a large old school organization, but it focuses a little bit more on the ops side of things. So I assumed that the Unicorn project would do the same thing, but for the dev side of the picture. What it actually is the Unicorn project is written more for developers. So it's written for like the developer in the large enterprise organization. And it's specifically like, how can those people move their companies in the right direction, into the direction basically of the Phoenix project? Whereas the Phoenix project was like, how do you implement DevOps in the enterprise, or why should the enterprise even care, basically? I thought that was an interesting dichotomy, I guess. Anyway, yeah, recommend it.
Definitely on the list. Yeah, I think I might spend some time getting caught up on some reading over our Christmas vacation.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I've been having fun on my side projects this month so far, and I got pulled into a few, Honey Badger actual work things, but I've gotten a lot done. But I'm also feeling the need to also rest a little bit this month, so I think I'm going to force myself to set everything aside for the rest of the month coming up pretty soon here. Maybe starting next week.
Maybe starting. Yeah. I've been liking our side project month. It's been going really well. Yeah. I've spent more time on non-side projects than I had planned. So I haven't had a lot of side project time. But at the same time, I've taken a look at like some of the systems that we have and I guess lubing up some of the squeaky wheels, and that's been fun because I've been playing with serverless. So that's always a fun thing. But I think it's a valid use of side project time is to take a look at stuff that is working fine, but I would like it to work a little differently. Just polish that a little bit.
Yeah, I like the idea of just taking time off to work on what you would work on if you didn't have any kind of responsibility or pressure to do anything. Like, what would you do? I wish that we could just do that all the time, and maybe take time off occasionally to actually do like stuff that we're forced to do.
All right. Yeah. maybe in the new year, we can talk about how we could make this a little more regular kind of thing. Maybe instead of just 1 month a year, maybe we can do 1 week a quarter or something. I don't know. I love the story of Basecamp and how it was built, on Fridays, basically, right? They spent a few hours every week and just built that up. And I like having the distraction. I like, side projects in general are fun, right? Whether they're work or not. I think if we could kind of schedule that into our system a bit, then that would help keep things fresh, So yeah,
that would be cool. Any other 2020 plans yet? Or do you have any resolutions?
I don't typically make resolutions. I try to build good habits and then stick to those habits, like, exercising. Like a few years ago, I decided I'm going to start doing it. And so just doing that 3 times a week as a minimum, right? That was my habit that I've now been doing for several years. So
I agree. It's all about habits.
Yeah. I mean, resolutions, I don't know. They kind of get talked up a lot and then kind of get forgotten, right? So,
well, yeah, that's why I said, I think that resolutions, that's why I said resolutions, I think I'm a fan of them, but I keep them private. I don't usually share them just because it's a personal motivating thing. And that way, it's fun if you actually do accomplish something that you had set out to do, then you can brag about it later or something, say, look, I actually did it. But yeah, you can't, it's setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. One thing I found that works for me, aside from habits, is I journal. So I try to keep a journal on a regular basis, maybe once a week, and just, write down things that are going on, basically. What I've done is I put a sticky note in the front of that journal that has 5 or 6 things that I just want to work on, like self-improvement kind of stuff, right? So at least, every 2 weeks, I'm seeing this little sticky note of things. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to work on that. And so it's a good reminder to do those things. So that's worked out pretty well because I can kind of reflect on that and say, how am I doing on those things? And that's been good. But yeah, like you said, I don't share those publicly because I don't need to admit all my failures to people.
Yeah.
It's been really weird. This past few weeks, maybe it's because we've been working on non-critical things, but I felt really motivated to work, exceedingly motivated to work for the past 2 weeks.
I felt the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So now I'm going into this Christmas vacation that we planned. I'm I don't really want to take a vacation right now because I'm really motivated to work. So
this may be a problem with starting the side project work before the vacation or, before you're going to take the time off. Because then you're you really want to work on this stuff because you've been having fun. Maybe we had it right last year where we did the work after the vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we could always make up our minds and just go ahead and do some more side work after our vacation.
Or we could just decide to take January off. Just, take the vacation.
There you go.
We'll just work through Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing I think I've decided not to do over the break is I'm pretty sure I'm not going to upgrade the database this time. I was really planning on it, but in part of the side project work, I did find a little snag. We have a test instance of Postgres 11 running. And as I was working with some data there, I found a minor snag that could impact our production system if we went ahead and did that upgrade. So I probably will not pull the trigger on upgrading to Postgres 12 over Christmas.
That's a good call. I don't think anyone wants to get Honey Badger notifications or not get Honey Badger. Yeah, I don't know what's worse, not getting the ones that you should be getting or getting the ones that you shouldn't be getting. That reminds me of that. We had a PagerDuty customer support request come in the other day about our PagerDuty integration that was hey, we're having this, it's kind of this, it's an edge case, use case kind of issue, but it's something that we might change in the future, or we might tweak it to make it work a little bit better for that person. But it's do we want to make drastic changes to the data that we send to PagerDuty right before, on the week of Christmas?
Survey says no.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Don't worry, everyone. I think Honey Badger is just gonna. It's a feature freeze time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like those e-commerce shops that don't do any deployments, the week before Thanksgiving.
Right. Yeah, holiday time is
we try to keep things pretty static.
Static and stable and running smoothly.
So 2020 resolution, though, I think one thing I'll definitely do is more serverless, for sure. I'm really enjoying it. Like having the discrete bits of functionality that are independent of anything else. It's like, oh, you want to do some other transformation to that data that you already have? Okay, fine. Just throw it on the Kinesis stream and set up another consumer, and have a Lambda running that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's some really cool stuff. I think there's lots of opportunity to pull out parts of the pipeline like we've been talking about. And I want to learn more about that too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that big rewrite, like one little step at a time, right?
At least the processing rewrite or whatever, right. The pipeline rewrite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
12 months from now, I'll be looking back, we're like, oh, yeah, over the year, we changed our whole pipeline. Now we have V2.
Right. Yeah. No, I'd be totally happy. Like, I don't think we need to rewrite anything like in our actual Rails app. It's just the parts of the Rails app that maybe shouldn't be in there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to learn more about serverless in 2020.
Yeah. So as part of my side project month, though, I've been playing with Vue, learning Vue. Like maybe I'm late to the party. I'm not a big fan of front end frameworks and stuff. But
this is Vue, the
Vue.js
client side framework.
Yeah. There's something as I've been doing more serverless, right? It seems like all the cool kids like to have their single page app in front of their serverless backend, right? And so I've been playing with that, and it's been fun. Like, I like how easy it is to get into Vue. Like, you can get started pretty easily with an existing page or an existing app. It just feels lighter than React. Maybe that's just, I don't know, some personal prejudice or something, but it seems
I've heard
fun
that too,
so
I
far.
think. It's cool. Yeah, I haven't really compared them personally, but from what I've heard, yeah.
So what I did, though, is I bought a Udemy course on Vue. Remember last year when we did the hackathon, we bought the Udemy course about Elixir. And I thought, well, let's go buy a course on Vue. And so I got one, and it's pretty good. But now I'm thinking, like, maybe every year we ought to have just like a Christmas giveaway at Honey Badger where it's just Udemy credit, right? So like all the employees can just spend the Christmas break learning new stuff. Or maybe that's just me because I'd like to learn stuff. I don't know.
I've continued to get I've got a couple Udemy courses since last December, and I'm currently going through one on photography just to kind of brush up on my photography skills. So yeah, that's been cool. And it's nice. I like it's also fun not having like something that you're learning that's like not, tech, it's more, it's a different type of learning. So
yeah, about like back to resolutions. I last January-ish, I bought a Udemy course on drawing so I can improve my drawing skills.
Cool.
Haven't watched it yet.
Haven't? Well, yeah, you still have it though. So
I do still have it. So maybe over the Christmas break, I'll learn how to draw.
I bought the AWS developer certification course on Udemy. I don't know if it's current. It was for 2019, like November 2019. So now I might have to get the updated version if I'm gonna actually do it next year. But we'll see. That's something I might still try to do.
I did one of those. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you and Star both did.
Yeah, and I think we're supposed to renew those once a year. So I think it's actually time for us to renew if we're going to do that. Yeah. But
do you have to do the test when you renew, or is it just like?
I think so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
A yearly Amazon AWS exam.
I'll have to go double check on that. But yeah, it was fun. And, it's kind of like feel like you're back in school. Studying,
it would be
and
weird.
Cramming and testing.
It'd be like the first test I've had in a long time.
So we talked about our Thanksgiving dinners last time. Now it's time to talk about our Christmas dinner. So
like what we had for Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah, right. Right. Because this is launching after Christmas. So in the Curtis family, we do the same thing for Christmas that we do for Thanksgiving. So just go back to that.
Just do the
turkey and sides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've done that before, and I'm a fan of that. As you know, I like turkey dinner.
Turkey.
So yeah,
I do. Did you eat all that turkey that you had?
No, I still got them, and I still got the 2 extras in the freezer. So we'll probably. I think we're gonna do one sometime in like January or February or something, and then who knows when the other bird will. Yeah, I think this Christmas we're gonna do a ham, go like traditional ham dinner.
I do like the ham.
Yeah,
that's what we do for Easter. That's our Easter one. It's always
Easter ham. Nice. Cool.
So is there anything that you really want Santa to have under the tree for you on Christmas morning? I
don't think so. I'm really bad. Like, I just buy things that I want usually. Like, if it's something that I decided that I'm going to buy, like I'm not like usually quick to buy things, but once I decide I'm going to do it, I don't see the point in like waiting.
Right.
And especially since it's like, if it's, it's a little different. When you're married and it's like, it's all the same bank account. So, so yeah, I don't know. We usually do, we don't do like huge presents usually, but we do, stockings and small things and occasionally like a surprise larger item or something that you didn't really think of. What about you?
I'm hoping for a Raspberry Pi under the tree.
Raspberry Pi.
The latest generation. Yeah, I wanted to build a little box to have Pi-hole on it.
Okay.
So I can
that's cool.
strip all those ads from that nasty internet.
Yeah.
Just to have a fun little box to play with.
You'll have to let me know how that works for like if you get it installed and everything.
Yeah.
I've heard they're pretty cool. That's like the ad blocker that you install on your entire network, right?
Yep. Yeah, basically you just change the DNS to point to it. And so, it just routes all ad requests to DevNull. Yeah.
That's really cool.
We'll see if I've been nice this year.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're wrapping up here. I had a thought though, that if our wonderful listeners wanted to get us a belated Christmas present or holiday present, I think the best thing that they could do for us is to go to iTunes, or I don't know what other platforms have have reviews or ratings. I don't know if Overcast does, but yeah, at least if you're on iTunes, go to the FounderQuest podcast and give us a nice review or a rating and or review. I think that would be, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah,
I think so. If you want a little Christmas cheer in addition to the gift to us, you can also tweet about the podcast to all your friends.
Yeah,
let them know to listen.
That would be great. On a Honey Badger IO, we've got the Honey Badger is looking pretty festive right now too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Let's check that out.
I don't know if you went and checked it out, but we'll probably leave his Santa hat on. I'll leave it up through the new year, just so people have a chance to check it out. And then if you're listening to this like 10 years from now, it'll probably, unless it's in December, it'll probably be a regular old Honey Badger.
So that's good.
Cool.
Well, Merry Christmas, Josh.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
FounderQuest is a weekly podcast by the founders of Honey Badger. Zero instrumentation, 360-degree coverage of errors, outages, and service degradations for your web apps. If you have a web app, you need it. Available at honeybadger.io. Want more from the founders? Go to founderquestpodcast.com. That's one word. You can access our huge back catalog or sign up for our newsletter to get exclusive VIP content. FounderQuest is available on iTunes, Spotify, and other purveyors of fine podcasts. We'll see you next week.